me, and honestly, I don't recognize this team compared to the team that took it to Dom 1 almost and that beat C9 last time. What happened?
Well, I think you saw, because there was a really interesting thing going on topside where Evie was again, I don't know exactly what happened in level 1, but Evie was again, I assume, contesting the wave very, very heavily. So there was a point where he was actually at level 3 and Fudge was at level 1 because he had zoned Fudge so far off the wave. And yet they were not able to capitalize on that pressure. Blabber was actually still able to have a significant CS lead up over Steel despite the kill that they had. And I think what happened with DFM in a lot of the better plays that they did have in this game, whether it was, you know, that kill onto Blabber in their own jungle, a couple of kills they got, like the side lane one on Perks, the waves and the map was always in a state where they couldn't retaliate, right? And that actually became a huge problem increasingly throughout this game.
And I'm so glad you brought it up because Vedius is going to jump into exactly how the jungle pathing and how the lane state influenced this game in the neighborhood tactics presented by State Farm. Take it away, Vedius.
Thank you very much, Shox. I wanted to take some opportunity to talk a little bit about early game jungle pathing because here at the neighborhood farm, State Farm neighborhood tactics rather, jungle pathing is extremely important. Now, in this early game, we saw that Blabber wanted to do a delayed invade. And while he does end up losing his life, I want to showcase why it ends up actually backfiring for DFM, even though they end up getting first blood, and why it actually has so many impacts on the later stage game. So let's start by rolling out the clip. And what you're going to notice is that C9 is going to do a bit of a delayed invade as they move into the enemy jungle. And what you're trying to do, if we can very quickly pause it here, is we actually want to split the map. So I'm going to bring up the minimap. I believe this one should do. And I want to highlight exactly what's going to happen. So the general idea is that by doing this delayed invade, you create this split map where the Morgana is going to do this top side clear, and then she's going to transition from the top side into the bot side, clear this all up, and then basically what it's going to guarantee is that your bot lane has permanent priority so that the Rumble can basically play through top, which is fine for Cloud9 because the Scion is the weak side of the map. However, they change up their plan, DFM, because they know exactly what's going. So Steel basically skips his camp, knows that he can actually win in the early skirmishes, and believes he can get here as we now roll out the clip. So watch as he's now going to go in for this fight against Blabber, get this initial kill, and now pause it here once again. So the thing about this whole split map is it actually allowed Cloud9 once again to get this priority in the bot side of the map. So why is that actually significant? Well, what it means is because they were able to push in this wave, they could collapse in first. So Rumble's decision to move into the enemy rafters and not actually secure the big rafters means that Rumble is still level 2. He doesn't also clear out these wolves. So he's now going to path up towards his own raptors, and this is actually going to give the opportunity for the Morgana to actually do a full clear from topside all the way through to bot. So as we now roll out the clip, you'll see that Steel, still level 2, goes up towards the top raptors, still level 2, while the Morgana is now doing a full clear from topside all the way down to bottom, while Steel will actually get himself the Scuttle Crab. Notice that Blabber at this point at the end of the clip is actually level 4, and once again, going to bring up the minimap for you and just highlight that he still has all these bot camps that he's can clear, right? And the whole thing about the pathing is notice that Rumble's now pinging the wolves that are still level 1, has to actually go and clear those as well. Now the Gromp is like, the whole pathing for Rumble is completely screwed up, and the jungler will know that like, oh, like what is even spawning next? The Raptors are going to spawn, and then the Krugs are going to spawn, so where does he path? And because of all of this, he didn't have an optimal pathing for next Drakes, for Rift Heralds. He couldn't get proper cross maps, he couldn't funnel the resources where he wanted to. So while Blabber did end up dying early, it ended up actually hurting Steel way more than it did Blabber, just because of how his suboptimal pathing ended up screwing over their whole early game. So that was a huge deal for Detonation Focus Me in the early game, and it really did cost them a lot.
An ace finally in the end. Dom1 Kia gonna end it 5-1 in the group stage. DFM looked good in the first week, but a 2-4 scoreline will not move on to the next.
Honestly, yes. Huge congratulations to Dom1. They had already moved on. They get another win here under their belts. For DFM and for them going home, I think this is actually the best international showing that we have had from the LJL. I think they can be incredibly proud of the work they put in here. This team is actually going to get even stronger when Steel gets residency in Japan. Currently, he's taking up an import slot. They can get their previous support back into the main lineup as well. So I think there's a lot of good things ahead for the LJL in total, but especially for DFM. They really came to play here at MSI in 2021 and can be proud of what they laid out on the Rift.
Legitimately, watch for DFM at Worlds this year. Imagine they have a real support, because Kazu was their coach for 3 years and stepped back in, and the weaknesses were obvious. With a real support, this team is legit scary. Be ready for them.